Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what Mexico is?
Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at? I think
Butthole.
Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Veritas Road. Touch Me Tuesdays on the Veritas Road, to be specific, where we talk about the things that touched me this week, and hopefully they can touch you too. I'm Carson, back here with John, guys, and we're happy to be here on this charming Tuesday. We've decided to change the way we introduce these shows. John, is it time to go, or are we waiting to start?
Hey, you are the host, so you do what you want to do.
I can't remember what we decided on. But
I don't either. So that's
that's something we should have figured out before we got started.
Yeah, well, we've started.
But we're here now.
We are here.
So we're gonna go.
For whatever reason,
talk about the things. Huh?
I'm glad. I hope that intro played for the normal viewers because it did not play in my web browser. So I don't know if you saw it, but
I did. I saw it. I heard it.
People might have just stared at silence for 45 seconds because it just said browser failed to play this video. So I don't know if that was just for me or the other people. But
are we live on all the platforms?
We are live.
Is it working?
No, we're live on all the platforms.
Okay.
So StreamYard just doesn't like me today.
That's unfortunate. Well, it played for me. I saw it. I heard it, and
that makes me feel better.
Hopefully that makes you feel. Yeah, hopefully that makes you feel better. Guys, as we're waiting for people to filter in a couple of things to share with you. First things first, go check out our show on the audio platforms. Go to Spotify and give the show a follow. Give the show a listen. We just uploaded our show with Doc Brown to Spotify. So if you're like me and you can't deal with paying attention to your actual job while you're at work and you have to have something going in your ears at all times, go listen to that while you're at work. So it's way better than listening to a homosexual thumb talk about MMA. Go listen to the Veritas Road while you're at work.
Yeah,
we're on all the audio platforms.
Spotify for Creators told me that we should have 200 followers. I don't know why they decided to say that, but they said that there was a little.
Listen, we should have 200
followers.
Yeah,
there was like when I was putting the episode we just did with Ben, the episode we did with Stack. It was like, hey, you should have 200 followers, and
it's kind of hurtful.
About half of that, a little less than half of that, and it was just
have like 127 or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know if that was 200 followers across all platforms or just Spotify specific. We should be close to that across all.
If it's across all platforms, it's probably around that. I know we have like in the 120s on Spotify.
It just decided to flag and be like, "Hey, you suck," for no reason. Like it just popped up and said, "Shows like yours should have 200 followers." And just the notice went away. It's like, well, screw that.
Fuck you, Spotify. That's hurtful. Yeah. Well, we're working on it, guys. So please go
follow our Spotify.
Go follow the Spotify. Yeah, because we apparently it thinks we should have more followers than we do, and it hurts John's feelings when he sees that message come across his computer screen. Thankfully, I didn't see it. It would have hurt my feelings too. So yeah, go to
that link.
Spotify. Yeah, and folks, if you like the show, you want more of the show, and you want to support the show, go check out the Patreon. We are planning on putting more and more stuff there as time goes on. So get in early because the price is only going to go up. It's $5 a month. Actually, no, I think the Theorist tier is $3 a month. You can get access to our Discord where all we do is talk and listen to links that Neph Hunter sends us. So go sign up right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop nursing your child. Stop taking a shit. Stop going on a pleasant nighttime walk with your husband or wife, and go sign up for the Patreon right now, and go follow us on YouTube right now. Don't even think about putting another bite of blended apples and ham into your toddler's mouth. Go sign up on the YouTube channel. Go subscribe right this second. Do it. It'll make you feel like a good person. Go virtue signal on YouTube. For us, though, that's what we're looking for. What else do we have, John? Go follow us on the Twitter, the X. X is what it's called now. Go follow us on X. Our old account got wrecked. We're still building that up. We're starting to head in the right direction. We're moving the needle a little bit towards.
Yeah, it's about half the size of the other one.
Towards the follower account we had previously. So
yeah, RIP to that.
I know it is sad. So go follow us on X. John's trying to click on bot accounts or whatever over here
it's on our old account. I thought they might have finally deleted it, but it's still there. It's just
the old account still exists, even though Twitter told us we weren't going to be able to put it there. Anyway, so yeah, go follow us in all the places. And if you're looking for some entertainment on July 10th, we'll be going live with the Berean Files. I know Zach will be there. I don't know about what's the other guy's name, John? I keep forgetting his name. I'm sorry if you're listening, guys. Jason. I'm not sure if Jason will be there or not, but I've been talking to Zach, so I know he's going to.
Well, every time you plug that show, you say the same thing every time. I tell you his name, and then we'll come back 2 or 3 days later, and you'll ask the same question. So,
John, I don't remember names already, and if I haven't ever met you or talked to you, I'm even that less likely to remember your name. I've met Zach and talked to him, so I remember his name now.
Gotcha.
Jason. Took me a second. Jason, I haven't met yet. I've listened to their show, guys, and it's fantastic. Like, I highly recommend go follow their show, listen to it. It's great. Their content is phenomenal. A lot of good insights over there. So highly recommend following their show. It's a good time. But we will have Zach and maybe Jason, I'm not sure, on to talk about the nature of symbolism. And if we're lucky, we'll get them to chat with us a little bit about the role of blood in biblical symbolism as well as in occult symbolism, which is what I really was trying to goad them into talking about. But Zach said we needed to lay the groundwork for symbolism first. So I have no idea what that's going to look like. I've got to get ready for that. And I have no idea what to start studying. Do I just read a book on symbolism? I don't know where to start. But I am very excited because I know they're going to have some interesting stuff to share with us. So that'll be a good time. So July 10th at 7 p.m. Central Time is when that will be going live, more than likely. We will let you know if that changes. So hello, Zigzag 2924, fellow pilgrims from Pacosa Springs, Colorado. I didn't even know that was a city in Colorado. Thank you. I'm learning something tonight. I'm learning about geography. I don't know much about geography. I didn't almost fail geography my 7th grade year of school, but I almost got kicked out of the class because I was flirting with a pretty girl, because that was the year of my life where I learned girls were pretty, and I got distracted and couldn't remember where Algeria was. I remember very specifically. I had a hard time remembering where different countries were. It wasn't Algeria specifically, John, but I remember having it anyway. That's not important. You guys didn't come here to learn what subjects I struggled with in school. I think we've had a few people filter in. So just a personal story as we get things kicked off. I train people at my job, which I know is shocking. They give me young, new, budding careers and expect me to train them up into successful people at the company I work at. And we hired some interns for the summer. I think we have 5 interns working for our specific branch of the company, and 4 of them were in training class with me. They're in training class with me this week, and one of them, this kid is 20, goes to college in Alabama, and he intimated to me today that he, in his 6th grade year of school, I believe, here locally, was very hungry in class and accepted a cookie from a friend of his at a local public school, which turned out to be laced with about 250 milligrams of marijuana. This young man at about 11 years old was high off his in an elementary school desk in bumfuck nowhere, Tennessee. To such a degree, he was telling me he was crying by the end of the school day, just openly weeping in middle school. And I'll tell you, John, this guy is now one of the most confident people I've ever met in my life. He'll tell you the dumbest shit and be very confident about it. And so I think the lesson to take away from that, you correct me if I'm wrong, is if you do a lot of drugs when you're young, you grow up to be confident.
I don't know about that, but
he also told
probably
me
worked
he
out for
went
that
to
dude.
a pool hall where he goes to school, and some MILF who thought he was a cute young man drugged him and tried to take him home. He got dosed by a MILF at a pool hall. Now, I don't know what the perspective of the public is, but like, let me ask you this, John, because I'm curious. Obviously, if he did that to a girl, that's wrong. That's bad. We don't like that. That's rape, right? We can agree on that. That's rape.
Right.
If he drugged a girl, it's bad. If a MILF does that to a 20-year-old guy, are people really getting that upset about that? If it's like a hot MILF, is anybody upset about a hot MILF dosing a 20-year-old guy to have sex with him? Because I have a hard time feeling bad for that guy. I don't think anybody feels bad for that guy. If it's the other way around, if it's a hot dad dosing a 22-year-old girl, everybody's okay, and we're busting down that guy's door to murder him, as we should.
Right.
But if it's the other way around, guys are like, hell yeah, brother. Like am I wrong? Am I wrong about that? I mean, what?
Not really, because
You know?
like it is kind of like hell yeah, brother, or it's also is like, hey, that's kind of your fault for letting that happen to you as a dude.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, yes, that's the other
That's
side
kind
of
of
that
the
coin.
paradigm that you're existing on. So I guess it doesn't really work the same.
It doesn't. It's a massive double standard, and I just find it so fascinating that obviously very wrong. Guys, please don't. This is not encouragement to go drug people in public. Please don't do that, okay? But it's odd how much of a double standard that is. Like if it's a guy doing that to a girl, and we all think that, and I agree. But if it's a girl doing that to a guy, you're right. Those are the two frames of mind. Either lucky or what a retard. Those are the two frames of mind. Like, you idiot, you idiot. You let that happen to you? Why were you there? Why were you drinking out of a cup that a MILF handed you with, like, why were you doing that?
No.
You're 100% right. That's just such an odd double standard to me. I don't know what to think about it. You have any other thoughts on that, John, before we move on? I just thought that was fast. I heard that story today. I was like, I have to share this.
No, not really.
Okay. Has that ever happened to you, John? Have you ever been dosed by a MILF at a pool hall?
No.
That's too bad. We'll see if we can make that happen this week. I feel like you're missing an experience.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Well, if you say so. If you say so. All right, folks. So we'll start out the show a little bit lighter this week. I don't want to do anything too heavy, but already screwing it up. So, John, can you help rectify my mistakes? You're there to catch me. You're the wind beneath my wings. You got that?
What do you want me to
pull these videos?
What do you want me to do?
Nothing.
You're pulling the videos tonight.
I just want you to if I leave the wrong screen up, I'm just hoping you'll fix it. That's what I'm hoping for.
I cannot fix the screen on. So the whole reason that you're doing this, because we think that the show will flow better if Carson's pulling up the videos he wants to watch.
Yes.
Right now, a negative in that category, because it's like we're not starting out on a strong.
Well, we got to give it time. Anything new takes time, John. We got to give it a couple of weeks, And if it still sucks, we'll revert back to the old way of doing it. It worked out okay with Nephunter last week, I feel like. it went okay. No, John, you got to let me do it. I've got to learn. How will I ever learn?
Okay.
How will I ever learn? So, Nephunter, I believe, it was either Nephunter or Q, one of our faithful listeners, sent us this this video about Betty Boop. It's an old Betty Boop cartoon from like, I don't even know when they started making cartoons, like the 40s, 30s, something like that. It's old. It's in black and white. It's got the old like instrumental music with it. And the only thing that it was a repost from Top Lobster from Nephilim Death Squad. And the text in it says, they told us in 1932 that the elites worship Saturn. It's why the black cube of Saturn is everywhere from Wall Street to Mecca. For me, it helps if you can see the visuals of this video, but the audio should work just fine if you're listening on the audio platforms. Let's take a look here.
Step right up, my friends. Step right up. How much is this big ball worth?
I'll be 20.
20 is bid.
Yeah.
Going. Gone.
I got them the whole world time got.
Gimme.
On the money, huh?
The cash.
Yeah, you got a few.
Thank you.
No, so.
Dude. How telling is that? So for folks listening, it's the moon auctioning off the world to all the planets. And Saturn strolls up looking excessively Jewish, has a massive nose, and bids on the world and wins the world. And for people who aren't super familiar with symbolism and all that stuff, neither am I, so don't worry. But Saturn is almost always related to Lucifer, to Satan, as is the black box they talk about in this, the black cube they talk about in the text from this video, the black cube of Mecca. This video came out in 1932, man. 1932. And they're very clearly showing you how Satan essentially took over the world. It's his domain.
I mean, yeah, that was told to you in, 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, but I wasn't alive then, John. What do you? I mean, I wasn't alive in 1932 either, but it was a lot closer to when I was alive. I mean, how wild is that, though?
Yeah.
Just straight up Saturn strolling up and saying, yeah, I'll take this thing. I'll take it over. It's just, it continues to amaze me the more we kind of go down this road with the show, and just on a personal level, because I'm trying to do more research into symbolism personally, aside from like the stuff we talk about here. And it continues to amaze me how a lot of these concepts, like Saturn buying the Earth, is just completely in front of our faces, like it completely, like smacking us in the face with a just so blatantly obvious and uncomfortably obvious. And I don't know, it makes me feel, I don't know about you, John, but it makes, I told you when we did our show on education, when we were talking about the education system and that being like corrupted and co-opted since the 1800s, right? By the Rockefellers and all those people. It's the most, I continue now. I didn't feel like this before, like looking into 9/11 and like the jabs and all that stuff. But now I feel almost like used, almost, I don't even know the right word. Like I feel raped isn't the right word. That's the wrong word. I feel like I've been taken advantage of in a weird way. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense? Does that ever happen? You have this realization like, oh my gosh, I'm just now remembering that Uncle Ted touched me 20 years ago. That's kind of what I imagine that feels like. It's remembering all of these moments, all these things that have happened over the entirety of your life, and you haven't known or haven't understood the significance of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel used. You feel violated. Violated is the term I'm looking for. You feel violated.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think everybody gets to that point once you start trying to get to the point where you see reality a little bit more as it is, because you spend your entire life like being set up for a system that you realize, oh, who's actually at the helm of it and what it stems from. It's like, yeah, it's natural. Like you should feel that a little bit. It's like you've gone through 20 years of an education to like, set up for, getting involved in some corporate job or whatever, getting involved in some industry. And when you trace that industry back to its roots, it's like, oh, this is satanic.
Yeah.
And like, as we see, it's like, it's literal. Like you can see it literally. It's like, if you dig far enough, like, all of it has, healthcare, business, what probably engineering, all of it has this kind of occultic satanic symbolism somewhere rooted in its like authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so correct. This is the first time over the past couple of weeks, probably the past month, I guess, whenever we did that show on education, which have we released that yet?
No.
Okay. That's why. Okay.
People
haven't seen that. We haven't released the show on education
live. They saw it.
Yeah.
But eventually I will release it. We wanted to do that to be this whole cool edited almost presentation thing.
Yeah.
We f***ed up the delivery in my opinion, so I've got to figure out how to adjust that, or if I just and let's try again.
Right.
And every time I pick it up to edit on it, I get distracted and pulled into other bullshit. So
I'm frustrated. No, I get it.
So
100%.
But it will be there. The link, it is unlisted on YouTube, so the link is out there somewhere. If you would like to watch the very version of it, you are more than welcome to. But you'll see it at some point.
Yeah, we'll get it out there eventually. But it's been since that I've really felt violated by the system, violated by the powers that be, and I think that's because looking into the Rockefeller education system, looking into things like that really caused the level of influence that those satanic forces have had on my life to really hit home.
No.
It's like learning over that you've been raised by a serial killer over the past like 15 years, and you just had no idea that they were training you to subconsciously, murder everyone you came in, something like that. It's like coming to that realization.
No.
And I guess it's never hit me on such a visceral level. And since then, every time I see something like this cartoon, it just hits me all over again. Like it's another wave of that feeling of like, I've been violated. Like I feel dirty almost. I feel like I need to go take a shower.
Yeah, man. And that's kind of a little bit part of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of part of, I don't know if spell's the good word, but it's part of the system in and of itself a little bit. That I remember when we did our NASA episode, Robert had a great rant in that to where he was like, who cares about your next week's audit? The earth is flat, right?
Yeah,
who cares about,
who cares who's president? The earth is
who
flat.
Cares? Yeah, the earth
who
is
cares
flat.
about the Fed? The earth is flat. Who cares about Wall Street? The earth is flat. Who cares about your gay uncle? The earth is flat. Yeah, I remember that.
Like it was a great rant, and there's a lot of truth in it, because I think a lot of people who start to when you wake up to like what all is actually going around is like, it's very easy to like catch that mentality, and like that just breeds some of the worst, most bitter nihilism that you can ever have.
Yeah.
So it's like that's almost part of the trap. And it's like, so when you see like that and you're like, oh, they're very open about like their agenda. They're very, very open about what they believe, what they worship, right? What they think about you. It's all out there. And it's very like it's not hidden. Right.
True.
And like that's a little bit like that's part of it. That's a tool a little bit. It's like they're trying to like gaslight you. They're trying to like manipulate you and trying to deject you. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's why I've said it time and time again. It's why I think some of these stories that you see in the media are so is like they kind of do that for the people who see it, to kind of put their middle finger up to you and be like, "Hi, you look at what we've got control over." You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that shit's bleak, man. It gets to me. It makes me nihilistic.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, and I don't have anything to share with people to try to lift them up as far as that goes, other than how fun is that cartoon about Satan buying the earth? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny what a massive nose
it's very funny.
Satan has.
The Jewish caricature.
Yeah.
It's very
I'll
funny.
buy it for $20.
Yeah. I mean, that looks like something Jake Shields would have made.
It
And
does, doesn't it?
I kind of like that. It's very funny to me. So Jake Shields, Dan Bilzerian is like they would have put that out, you know.
They would have.
Very cheap, you know, paying some, you know, 19
Some incel to make it for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about 6G. So the CEO of Qualcomm just came out. Neph Hunter sent us this video, by the way. So Neph Hunter, if you're listening, thank you for all the videos you sent this week. I watched a ridiculous amount of them. They were a good time.
I'm happy.
He did change his profile picture back. It's recognizable again. Yeah. The CEO of Qualcomm is openly saying that 6G is going to track everything. And this is the type of I prepared to talk about on our episode with Andrew from the 6G Agenda, but we didn't discuss at all, which was fun. It was great. Andrew had a ton of just super fascinating stuff to say. So it was a good show. By the way, go check that out, guys, on our channel if you haven't seen it, and go follow 6G Agenda because there's a ton of good information there. So go give Andrew a follow. His show is fantastic. You'll learn more there than you ever will here, to be quite frank with you. But
yeah,
tell me I'm wrong, John.
Not at all. Not at all.
So the CEO of Qualcomm, though, came out and said 6G is going to track everything. And I was looking into this for that show, and he's not wrong. So 6G operates on a frequency to where it'll essentially act like a really short distance radar, almost like echolocation for bats. Like on a very small scale, it acts like a radar. And because of the wavelength of this frequency, because it's a much shorter wavelength, it's more easily blocked by things like solid objects, things like water, even things like humidity. And so essentially the way this is going to have to work with these 6G cell towers is they're going to have to put them everywhere to get coverage everywhere. And what that's going to allow for is large-scale, very detailed mapping of environments. If you listen carefully, the CEO of Qualcomm, which has chips in everything, okay, and their software, their base software in everything, the CEO of Qualcomm calls it digital twinning. Now, I wasn't familiar with that term, but it essentially means just like building out a twin digital environment of the real environment. Okay. And so I don't have much more to add to that. Let's listen to this real quick, and then we'll get back to it.
"6G will track everyone everywhere, all day, every day." That's what the CEO of Qualcomm just admitted in a podcast.
6G is going to do, not only at your neighborhood, not only at the city, at the state, but at the entire country level, will map the digital twin, I think, of the world. And that also become very interesting. Of course, in today's, I think, environment, if I say that, everybody will understand it. Like you can do drone detection, you know, everything that is moving is going to be tracked. You have a radar at scale.
So basically, 6G won't just track digital devices. They're talking about building a model of the entire world where they can track anything that moves. This is even scarier than what he admitted earlier.
What is 6G? 6G is designed for AI. So in addition of the networks making connectivity and give you faster connections, will sense everything around you. You take the AI to the next level, you can actually get facial recognition of everybody in the room. That's going to be done at scale at a 6G network, and that's more context.
It almost makes no sense for him to admit something like this so publicly. But then again, they're all openly admitting that 6G is pretty damn scary.
So we're into 6G now. I just 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6. Let's do it again. What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See, I like the cameras of the old days. So they just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. You're not gonna, but I tell you, it's the 6 is coming, huh?
And by the way, this gets even worse because this 6G mass surveillance is also tied into all these AI companies and their shiny new products.
Okay. So aside from, there's a little bit more that this Qualcomm CEO has to say. Stand by, folks.
Working with pretty much all of them.
Yeah, so like OpenAI, Meta.
All of them. And you have different things that people wear. Glasses is the easiest one to understand, but they're going to be more. They're going to be jewelry, pins, pendants, things that you wear.
He's talking about AI being embedded in all these different.
And if for some reason smart glasses aren't cutting it for you, well, you can go to your local Nokia store and get a 6G implant.
About 6G earlier, which is around 2030, I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
All right. So this is really stupid what I'm about to say. John, the first thing I noticed getting ready for this, and you tell me how this is, okay? I'm relying on you.
All right.
You know that, okay, so 6G, right? G is the 7th letter in the alphabet.
Yeah.
Okay, you following me?
Yeah.
What are all the kids saying these days?
Yeah, it's retarded.
6, 7 with the hands.
Never do that again.
I know, but
I will edit that out.
Am I wouldn't blame you. Am I full on for thinking that there's some correlation between those two?
I mean, not necessarily. I don't know. I think sometimes, and like it's probably something we can get in with Zach, I think sometimes like those very obvious like numerical correlations they put out there.
I mean, just catch people. Yeah. I mean,
I think it's kind of that like mocking thing almost, because it's like, do I think that has a ton of significance? No. But I also think it's maybe just some little thing that they'll put out there so that like conspiracy people will just like key in on it. Ultimately, I think it's a rabbit hole that kind of leads to nowhere, you know? I think they put a lot of those out there for people to just like, you'll chase something. See, like, Q nailed it. Not necessarily, but yes. Like, that's my opinion. So I'm sure
not
that's not,
but you're still stupid. I respect that.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sure it's like not a coincidence, but just because it's not a coincidence doesn't mean it's like something to note kind of thing, you know?
No, and I think that's a good point. I think there are a lot of things like that that are essentially put out there either just to grab people's attention or just to make like the truth community look like, right?
Yeah.
I think those are pretty common. A lot of these just like wild connections and extrapolations people will make end up just making you look like a fucking, if they're true. You're like, oh my gosh, this celebrity looks like this celebrity, and that one looks like this one, and this old person looks like that old person. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
If you count all the letters in this word, they equal the same amount of letters and numbers that were actually on Donald Rumsfeld's office directly after 9/11, and then he drove that many miles to his home in New Jersey, where he then took a shit that was like it's just a full on, like all of those wild, like people trying to connect pins on a board like it's some crime show.
Yeah.
I think it does end up making people just sound in a lot of cases, and I think you're probably right about this one.
Yeah. In that it makes people kind of miss, I always say kind of focus on the meta narrative, and I think it makes people miss that a lot when they kind of like seed these little sub narratives out there for people to tack onto.
Yeah,
it's like people kind of miss the bigger picture of what's actually going on.
Yeah, they get hyper focused.
Like they miss
whatever one concept or another.
What Ben was talking about when we were talking with him last week is that they completely missed the result of what happened. Right, because it's like you're not actually paying attention.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to the end goal. Like you're not paying attention to what's causing this or what's what these events are driving towards.
Yeah,
right. It was the same concept back during the Rona. Like I was fully involved in like the health freedom movement, but none of the on that side of the coin were focused on where that concept was headed, and that whole thing, that whole coalition ended up barreling just full on into the New Age movement. Like that's what it became. So much of it just transformed into the New Age movement. I think they used a lot of what was going on during Corona to push people into the New Age.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
I almost got swept up in it. Like if it weren't for some of the people we've talked to on this show, I'd probably still be swept up in it.
Yeah.
And so I think you're right about that. Outside of the symbolism and trying to divine like what this stuff actually means and where this type of stuff is headed, I do think that what is notable is this rollout of 6G, because it represents a fundamental shift away from the way things have been. I mean, we're talking about capabilities that we haven't had on this large of a scale becoming a thing. We're talking about full-on mapping the physical environment on such a grand, massive scale we've never had before. These people call it digital twinning. It's not far off if you take the time to look into how this works. They essentially map out the entire physical environment and can tell when people are moving from one place to another. You can identify people. This guy on the World Economic Forum said, like, the facial recognition software is going to be built in. AI is going to be built. This is the infrastructure that leads to like the dystopian worldview a lot of people are freaking out about. Now, do I think it's going to happen in the timeline? A lot of people are saying no. Everybody's always like, this is going to happen next. It's going to happen in 2030. It's going to happen in 2025. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of us panic and freak out thinking it's going to happen next month, and that rarely ever happens. These people aren't that. Changing things that immediately on that grand of a scale is going to either scare people or piss them off such that the masses aren't going to be happy with you. The masses are going to be, they're going to resist to some level. It's rare that we have these large scale events with these mass changes like we did during the Rona. That was an aberration from the way these things typically operate. It's slow. It's incremental. It's not, one day things are fine, the next day it's dystopia. That's not the way these things work. And I don't think that's going to happen with 6G. I don't think it's going to work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit of both, though. It's like, it's like slow, gradual, big event.
Yeah.
Gradual speeds up, big event, gradual speeds up, big event, and that's what we've kind of seen with a lot of it, 9/11, War on Terror, go into the collapse in 2008, get into Rona. It's these little slow progressions in the meantime, and then these big events that kind of spike the scale.
It's like a stepwise function. Like for people who are into math, like there's not a whole lot going on, and then there'll be mass change, and then we'll kind of revert back to closer to the way things were before, but not quite. Yeah. And this is how we effect change on a grand incremental scale, right? because the Rona, like there were people like me, like John, like I'm sure a lot of people listening who like didn't change their lives very much at all, who refused to, but you got used to other people doing it.
Yeah.
You got used to other people wearing a mask in their car. You got used to being told you had to stand far away from people in a restaurant.
Yeah.
You got used to not being able to go to Walmart at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And so did I.
Yeah. That didn't come back. Walmart closes at 11 now.
Yeah.
You know, like that was the, you know, that's the first one thing I noticed is like 24-hour anything. Most of that's gone.
Yeah. Most of it.
Like 24-hour fast food's gone. 24-hour grocery stores are gone. Like it's not there anymore.
Which I mean, if you're taking advantage of those, your life's probably not all that healthy. But also, how sad is that, man? I've had a lot of great memories of going to Walmart at 3 a.m.
Yeah. And like, I took advantage of that in college. I'd do my shopping then because no one was there.
I mean, that's a smart move.
Like if I'm up anyway, it's like I might as well.
Right. Same. That's when I would do things like that, especially once I moved away. I lived in a city that didn't have a Walmart for a long time. But yeah. And a lot of that's gone away, but we just accepted it. It's not weird.
Yeah.
We've just accepted it. And so that's where I see things like 6G fitting into the narrative. I don't think it's going to be this massive shift, right? I think it's going to be like kind of like this concept with the flock cameras, right? We'll talk about that here in a second. But they're going up places. Some people are flipping out, but it's slow change. They're not putting 200 up in your residential neighborhood. They're putting 5 up in your city. And then next year, they're going to put up 10 more. And then the next year, they're going to put up 30 more, right? It's slow. It's incremental. We're not going to hit you with the massive change all at once. And you're right about these massive changes coming from time to time. I'm not saying they never happen, but they're rare. JC, you're right about that too. He said the alt health community got co-opted by the new age and MAHA, M-A-H-A. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. Make America healthy again is the only way I know how to say it. MAHA, MAHA, MAHA. That's got to sound obnoxious. So this change comes slowly though. In most of the we have these big moments. Corona, 9/11, the housing market crash in 2008. It's a good example, John. But most of the changes come slowly, and you don't notice. You don't notice them, and a lot of them are a result of just things not downshifting back to normal once these big events are over, allegedly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's just the way I see this 6G going. And speaking of 6G and flock, I do agree with all the people who are losing their shit over the flock cameras. Like I think people should be flocking to tear them down. Like why are we allowing these things to be put up anywhere? I mean, all they're doing in Europe is shooting this down in a lot of the residential neighborhoods there. Like they're just shooting them down, they're tearing them down. Accepting the fact that some third-party business pseudo-government entity can police you is we can't allow that to happen. Like this is where I think people are perfectly within their rights to completely vandalize property. I'm not suggesting that, by the way. I'm not saying anybody should go out and do that. I'm just saying it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. And
make your own decisions.
Yeah, make your own decisions about that. Good point, John. I think what this guy at a young Net Hunter said, you don't need to tear them down. You just need a really good green laser pointer and aim it at them. I have no idea. Does that like disable them somehow, Net Hunter? Does that like break them? I'm curious to know what that does to them. This douchey looking young person got pulled over, I guess, or cited by one of these flock cameras in I believe this is Florida, maybe, and showed up in Congress. And we'll talk about this in a minute. I have mixed feelings about this concept. Let's listen in.
Now I'm gonna be a little bit meaner than them. So
there you go.
Normally I wouldn't come to a city council meeting. I'm one of the county's pains in the ass. Historically, I stay out of the city and the city stays out of my business. It was a pretty decent arrangement. But then y'all sent me one of these tickets from one of your AI red light cameras you have deemed as necessary infrastructure in your city. Thing about this is I was in Seminole, Alabama at the time I allegedly ran this red light downtown. How can I be in two places at once, you ask? Don't worry, I asked myself that too. Outside of Scotty beaming me up 30 miles in an instant, the only logical conclusion is I wasn't there. These things have been deemed unconstitutional for this reason, because the enforcement action of 316.0083 unduly shifts the burden of proof to the vehicle owner, me, to prove my innocence rather than the state having to prove my guilt. Currently, I'm guilty by default. I've been convicted by a computer program. Usually this whole mess of who committed the infraction is settled by a police officer pulling somebody over and actually witnessing them in the driver's seat. The AI camera doesn't do any driver verification whatsoever. To get your constitutionally mandated due process, you have to jump through hoops put up by Automated Enforcement Division, a private company in Orlando that's owned by another corporation called Novoa Global, which is owned by a Chilean-Swedish millionaire named Carlos Hofstedt. So not only does this process flow through a private company, our DMV records and personal registration information are accessible by a foreign actor.
Okay, that's about all the substance of what he has to say. I'm of two minds with this concept, though. And John, I'll be interested to hear what you think about it. On one hand, I think, Nephilim, so he says it's the connection to the, I guess, to them. I up the lights, the camera somehow. Okay, interesting. I'm of two minds about what this guy's doing. On one hand, I think that a lot of people in this space and in this like conspiracy truther community tend to just jump from point A to point Z and ignore the fact that there's good in the middle, right? Like he's saying, hey, this is problematic just on a fundamental logical level. Like for people who accept the premise that America is a thing and that you have rights that are given to you by America, like for the normies out there, this is problematic and here's why. And personally, I think that has value. And I think that's where a lot of people ignoring that has some problems, like because that has value to your everyday average Joe six-pack, smoking meat on the weekends, smacking his wife's ass every time he comes home from work, right? I think that has value. But on the other hand, how much good is this really going to do? How much change are you really going to affect having this discussion in a city council meeting? And I'm not saying it's not. Like I'm not. This is not me saying, oh, it's not going to do any good. It's not going to have anything to do with anything. Because I think on one hand, a lot of people just say, okay, it's not going to do any good for anything, and kind of say, okay, well, I've absolved myself of any responsibility because it's not going to do any good. Why would I act on anything? And I understand that concept, but the flip side of that is I would argue that this does have value to Joe Sixpack out there. So I'm curious as to what you think about this, John, because I'm of two minds. I don't know what to think about this type of, can you call this a protest? Whatever this guy's doing.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say it's fundamentally bad. Like I think it's, conceptually good.
No, I liken it to like you're playing Call of Duty Zombies. You're winning a round, you're taking out, you might be like taking out a wave of like the enemies that are coming at you, but more are going to come at you right after that. And it's because it's like, on the flip side, what you're talking about, and this is where I think people kind of miss, is that you're not actually attacking the root cause of why all of this is happening at the first place. Like, and like, I think about this a lot because I see this happening like in our local community and local communities, small towns all across the Southeast, all across the Midwest. Is like, you're not addressing the usury that got you to this point to begin with. Right. Yeah. Like the reason you have massive corporations marching into your suburbs, marching into your, 50,000 quiet little community and doing like this is because you consented to it and you let them in, right? You let them into to your land. You let them in to have, control over your housing market.
Yeah.
Right. You let them have control over your big businesses, right? Like they came in, they put in all their businesses. They came in, they put in all their condos, and like these systems, they're there to take, right? They're there to like grow and expand. They're not there for you and to like uphold your values or anything like that. So you've consented to the underlying principle that all of this stems from. It's all connected, right? The way all of these communities are kind of getting on by, different industries of big business, it'll get you here one way or the other.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't recognize that. It's like Michael Malice has a fantastic quote, because it's like, we're in the South. I kind of point this at the conservatives. It's like conservatives are just progressives driving the speed limit. And it's just a great quote because it's true. Like these people are driving the speed limit. Like you're way behind because you've missed everything that got you to this point. You've conserved nothing. Now you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. And
like that's the dichotomy that you're in, right? Because it's like, yeah, that's going to do you some objective good in the moment in the that you're in. Like you're going to be in a little bit less. You're not addressing anything that got you to that point. You're not addressing the underlying principles and the underlying faults in your community and society at large that got you to that point.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, the next thing will be right around the corner and you'll be right back here.
I have nothing to say to that. Yeah, you're exactly right. You are exactly right.
Yeah.
It's people.
It's all usury,
accepting.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. 100. It's people accepting the usury is a good word for it. It's people accepting these corporations, these entities coming in and taking over, saying one thing, saying, "Hey, we just want to give back to the community," and then taking over, and they're not there for anything good. You know they're not. They say, "Oh yeah, we just want to come be a part of your community and help you out, right? We're going to be so good for the local economy. We're going to be so good for them. We just had some influencer move in and take over my barbershop here in Columbia, and I'm pissed about it. Okay,
yeah, I mean that's a microcosm of the
exactly. That's a tiny version of what's going on a grand scale. But if you want an example of what's really going to happen, I'll give you a example of what happens on a small scale that means nothing to anybody but me. Okay, I've been going to the same barber for damn near 20 years at this point. Okay, I've been going to see this guy since high school, and some influencer singing barber moved to downtown Columbia, where I get my hair cut once a month, and took over the same barbershop I've been going to for 20 years. I mean, I used to walk into this barbershop and it was full of old, just men with comb overs trying to escape from their wives and get a damn haircut from a World War II veteran who smokes like a chimney and can barely walk and is a little racist. Okay? That's what I was coming in for. And now some 28-year-old barber has moved in to downtown Columbia, painted the whole place black, filled it with hipsters with mustaches and long haircuts. But it's good because it's going to draw people to downtown. It's good because it's going to be good for the local economy. Don't you want the little colored children to eat? Yeah, I do. He's not going to feed any of them. He's not going to do anything good for anybody. Sure, he might do a nice thing or two for the people that own the shops next to him, okay? But conceptually, the corporations that are in bed with these people, buying up all the property, buying up all the land, telling you that they're going to give back to the community, John said it perfectly. They're just there for usury. They're just there to take. These corporations do nothing but feed off of the work and the energy of the people who choose to engage with them. And all it takes to engage with them is say, yeah, that's fine. Move into our town. Yeah, that's okay. Buy this piece of property. That's fine.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it on such a real, visceral level, even here where John and I live.
Yeah, dude. Put up 3,000 condos. We'll get you to put up a data center on, 500 acres of, generational farmland.
100%.
These things progress, and it's very, very easy to see when you look at it.
You're so right. And these people have the time and the money and the patience to be able to wait you out. They're not worried about the next 5 years or 10 years. They're worried about the next 500.
They have these when you start paying attention to the local politics of this, it's like they've got the backing of the local governments, right? Like you have local, I've seen this happen. Like there's a story of this happening in Georgia where you had a local public utility do eminent domain on some lady's house that she's lived in for 60 years because they needed it to run power poles for a data center. I think we talked about it on the show, maybe.
Yeah, we did.
Kicked her out of it, knocked the stupid thing down. Is like, if you don't look at the root cause of why this is happening to your town and to the towns next to you, it's not that far off that you get to this. It doesn't have to be like people pay so much attention to like national politics or even state politics, and that's where they think all this shit's going to come from. It's like, no, it's going to like, it's going to be kind of dispersed at the bottom, right? Because there is an element of consent that has to happen. And like that consent's very, very easy to get if you manipulate them kind of at the local level, partially to where people aren't really paying attention to it. Right. Especially if you live in the South, not many people pay that much attention to local politics. It's like you'll show up when, tax assessments do, but you're not necessarily paying attention to the scale. And like these faceless corporations, these giant technology, corporations, they kind of understand that. They kind of come in the back door.
Yeah.
And do like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this dude lives, somewhere in Florida. I bet very few people in that place saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of those shit towns in Florida with like 5 stoplights and a bunch of people on meth, but it's still sad.
Yeah, I mean,
to your point, I don't want to be that guy who tries to draw connections to the Bible about everything, but it kind of makes me think, what you're talking about kind of makes me think of the Israelites when they were in Egypt, right? And there were so many of them that Pharaoh and the government at the time was like, oh shit, we've got to make sure these people just continue to consent to their labor and slavery. Otherwise, they're going to rise up and take over this whole damn thing. Like that was a massive thing. That is, it's not a direct quote, but it's a paraphrase from the Bible. Like it's like, oh my gosh, we need to make sure that these people continue to consent to us owning them, essentially, or they're going to break out of this system that we built for them. But we continue to consent to all of these things. We continue to give ourselves over to them, even if we don't realize it all the time. They're still a part of us, a part of me, a part of you, a part of anybody that's listening that understands what you're consenting to every day when you wake up and you pay your Hulu membership, every day when you wake up and you pay your power bill, every day when you wake up and pretend like you give a shit about who's running for Congress, every day when you go to your corporate job, every day when you do all of these things. There's a portion of you that consents to those concepts. And I'm not saying don't do this stuff that allows you to live life. I'm not saying don't go to your job. I'm not saying any of that. But I don't know, man. It's these actions that we take, whether it's not showing up at the city council hearing, whether it's not having that awkward discussion when you're over at your friend's place for a cookout about how dumb it is that they just rolled over and said okay when they raised taxes in the area. It's not choosing to have the hard conversations. It's not choosing to engage with the difficult moments that continues to offer consent for these concepts over and over and over and over and over again and allows this stuff to happen, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not, and it's a very simple concept that's incredibly difficult for anybody to actually get control of.
Yeah,
it's not living for the dollar, man, because that's how all this got here, right? It's like that's how these, corporations, entities, whatever you want to call them, that's how they got here. It's like, right, as the cities all across the country went to right? That's part of like we're kind of in a downstream effect from 2020 is that they just bankrupted these places, both financially and morally, just turned them into absolute. Sent all of these people who had, any type of money, any type of really any money, sent all these people all across, the Midwest, all across the South, all across the East Coast, and all these little communities. These people had money. These people had things like. They brought so-called opportunity, right? And like that's what motivated all of this is literally just, money. But you don't realize the trade that's going off is like you're trading away your way of life for the dollar. That's what's happening. It's just like when you invite these massive, like when you sell off your land, right? 67-year-old boomer, and like there's a whole lot of shit that's going into that of why they're doing that and why some of them have to do that. It's like when you're selling off 500 acres to some person to put up 500 condos, 1,000 condos, is like you're not just, the exchange is not just land for money, man.
Yeah.
There's so much more going behind that. Is like the way of life that you came up in, the way of life that you probably brought your kids up in, and that your parents brought you up in, kind of going along with that.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to recognize this. Like you have to recognize that,
Yeah. It's these, I don't know, these microtransactions that lead to change on a massive scale. A massive scale over time. 100%.
It's crazy how the dollar has that much power, man. And like this is a tale as old as time throughout all of history. But it's wild.
It is. It's mind numbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scale of it is
yeah. This is probably the largest at scale it's ever happened, but
yeah, it's certainly in our lifetimes. Yeah. For sure. All right, I feel like we've harped on this too much. We probably need to move on. It's something that bothers the hell out of both John and I think. So it gets us both riled up.
I think, anybody living, in real America sees it.
I feel like I saw an American flag unfurl behind you when you said that. Anybody living in real America.
Well, you get what I mean. People who aren't living in these just absolute cesspool places that, like they see it. Like most of the people in this chat, they see it on some level. Like it's happening to their town on some level, right?
Dude, I mean, I think
it's happening.
It's happening. They just don't want to
door.
Acknowledge it.
And so it's like I think this hits home for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're dead on right. So a little bit of a break from talking about how f***ed up America is. Let's talk about how f***ed up the world is. Let's have a little fun. Let's talk about how the world's come. For those of you who aren't aware, the World Cup's going on right now, people, and there are soccer games going on all across all of North America, Canada down to Mexico. There are soccer games going on every day, and for a soccer fan like me, it is exciting. But what is of interest to us here on the Veritas Road, for those people who aren't familiar, the organization that puts on the World Cup every year is FIFA. It's essentially the International Federation for Football Association, I think. I know the letters are backwards, but it's in Spanish, folks. It's in one of them funny sounding languages. So the letters are in different places. All right. You're going to have to allow for the Spanish people to talk a little differently. All right.
Well, they're based out of Switzerland, but okay.
I didn't know that, but isn't the acronym for FIFA in Spanish? Like aren't the words in Spanish? I thought they were in Spanish because nobody. Not as many people speak German. So off, John.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I was correct about that.
I think he came out of Uruguay or something. So
yo, wiener. All right. So moving on.
Sorry.
From John's I think it came out of Switzerland, actually. So the FIFA, the organization, has a president. This guy's name is Gianni Infantino. And if you're watching, this won't hit home as much if you're watching, but if you're watching, he was seen at two separate soccer games. One was Ecuador versus Germany, and the other was Curacao versus the Ivory Coast. Two separate soccer games at the same time. Now, you might think, well, that's not that weird. Soccer games go on all the time. Here's the thing. Both of these soccer games kicked off within about 2 minutes of each other at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern time on June 25th. Now, I didn't look into what stadiums they were, but I don't know how many of you have tried to go back and forth between any kind of stadiums. It's a giant pain in the ass. I don't care how famous you are. John, what the hell do you think is going on here?
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I think it was like Philly and Boston or New York and Boston. So, I mean, within
conceivably, you could helicopter back and forth.
And like I've seen like the scoreboards change on all of those pictures of like the minutes that the game was at. right? Or it didn't have so I don't know how true it is.
So do you think the first question is, do you think it's real?
I don't know. I don't think that necessarily doesn't mean that it's not something to pay attention to, because maybe it is trying to seed this cloning narrative that we talk about a lot, on some level, at least to get people to talk about it.
I will say this. I don't mean to interrupt you. Remember your thought. I have seen him. So I've been following soccer for a hot minute. I've seen Infantino at way more soccer games this last World Cup than I've ever seen him at in that short a period of time.
Yeah. I mean, he was at...
That's a fair statement.
I mean, he was at all the ones at Qatar. But they were all in close proximity to each other, in the same city. But yeah, I don't know. It's strange nonetheless. And I think the narrative is probably more interesting than if it's actually true or not.
And the actual reality of the thing.
Because it's there's no really way to know. And it's I've seen that explanation too, Neff Hunter.
Neff Hunter said, it says if he can't be in attendance for a big match, they put him in there digitally, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would feel the need to do that. There are a ton of matches going on. Why do you feel like he has to be at every one? There are a ton of elections going on. We don't Photoshop Trump into every election we have across the country.
Different countries over thousands of miles. I don't know. It's weird. I think the narrative's interesting. I don't really know if it's any truth to it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, I have no idea either. But the way this has hit the mainstream, I think is interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of all I can say about it. And it's look into cloning. If anything else, it is a thing.
We did a show on it, guys. Go check out that episode.
Go watch it. That's about all I can say about it.
It's a little disturbing, but go watch it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think there is a whole lot more to say on that. I just did think it was interesting. We haven't had a UFO event yet this World Cup.
Wait till the final.
So there is that.
It'll be at the final.
You think so? That's a bold statement. I wonder if there will be one on the July 4th game. There's going to be a World Cup game on July 4th. I can't remember who's playing that day. I don't know if that's been decided yet. That could be a thing. When are these Patriot games going on? Aren't they like July 3rd through 5th?
I don't know.
We're going to have the 4th of July. What?
July 4th is Canada, Morocco, and Paraguay, France.
Okay, nobody's going. Some people are going to be watching those, but
I mean, I'll be watching.
France will draw
any type of world-altering event's not going to happen during either of those.
Yeah, not at Canada, Morocco. Who's watching that? That's fair. But it's the culmination of all those things all at the same time, right? These Patriot games, the 250th anniversary of the United States or whatever it is, and the 4th of July, the World Cup's going on. It's a ton of shit. If we're gonna have an UFO event, it seems like a good time, be it on the final or on the 4th or whatever.
Teasing it. I teased it during the Brazil game down in Mexico, whoever the hell they were playing. So
yeah,
I don't know. Something to pay attention to.
We'll see what happens. It'll be fun nonetheless.
So
moving on, let's talk about things that are important to America as a country, folks. Listen, I'm not the most patriotic guy, but I grew up believing that you should respect our country and care about the United States of America. Put your hand on your chest when it's not the Statue of Liberty, when the Pledge of Allegiance comes on the radio or whatever happens. And there is nothing more near and dear to our hearts here in the United States of America than the fact that the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial isn't as clear as it should be. We're angry because it's got algae in it and it could look more like glass. And Trump's upset. And so he has commissioned a $1.7 million ozone nanobubbler at the Lincoln Memorial Let me try that again. At the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool for crystal clear water. $1.7 million for a nanobubbler. Let me say it again. $1.7 million. It's supposed to get rid of algae, bacteria, and other chemicals. Now, we don't talk about mainstream perspectives a lot on this show because, quite frankly, they're not that interesting. But here's the deal. Why the f are we spending $1.7 million on an aquarium bubbler for a giant reflecting pool in front of a massive statue of a and a giant in Washington, D.C.?
It's just ad absurdum, man.
It's hilarious. Like, for those people who believe mainstream narrative, how does that? This should enrage you if you actually place any faith in the system at large.
Yeah.
It's comical at this 1 point. We're building a ballroom that's costing how many millions of dollars? Like, it's in the hundreds of millions, I believe. And we're investing $1.7 million in an aquarium bubbler for a giant reflecting pool that nobody can swim in. At least let me stick my dick in the water if it's that nice. Right? Let me wade down into the super reflective pool. Something. But you can't even swim in the damn thing. It's completely ridiculous. John, any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah. Weimar Republic, when you ever hear the stories about like the people who burned the German currency to like keep warm because it was worthless, it's like this is kind of how like these crazy demonic elites do the same thing for a failing currency. They just like stifle off and just spend it on crazy. Like it's kind of it should be indicative that like, hey, this isn't gonna stay around all that longer.
You would think, right? Yeah.
Because it's like there's not really any stability there. There's not stability in like the narratives, and like there's very clear like not stability in like, you know, the idea of fiscal responsibility. Is they're just doing crazy with it.
100%.
Yeah, the writing's on the wall there, I think, at this point.
Yeah, as it has been for a little while. But when you're spending $1.7 million on a bubble machine, yeah, we're past the point of no return, I feel like, as far as that's concerned. 100% agree with you. 100%. Oscar Sanchez said the World Cup's fake. USA will win the whole thing, even though they never advance past the quarterfinals. Oscar, that's a bold statement, man. If I had to guess, I'd say France is going to win, but I could be wrong. John, who do you have to win the World Cup? Get a pick right now.
I mean, I picked Spain when all of it started.
You standing by that?
I think so. The Spanish team is very comparable to the 2009 Spanish team that did World Cup Euro. And they did I think they'll do it again.
You want to know what it is? Huh? It's the Rockefeller.
Share your screen.
Stand by. I wasn't ready yet. I didn't want that to play as quickly as it did. So, we talked a little bit about education earlier, and John, you're going to hate this, by the way. I'm just going to tell you now. So I want you to steel yourself to not piss yourself or freak out or whatever. Just get a hold on your autism real quick, okay?
Okay.
Can you visibly take control of your autism? I want you to grab it by the neck. Okay? I want you to imagine yourself doing that.
Okay.
This is one of the best and also most disturbing videos I think I've seen on the Rockefellers in a long time. And folks, if you have the ability to watch this, go make sure you're watching this segment of the show, because this is I'm a fan. We're going to play this real quick and then we'll discuss.
You want to know what it is? Huh? It's the Rockefellers. Having our public education system bought and paid for decades. You know, there's a good reason they don't teach you business in public school. There's a good reason they don't teach you to file your taxes. It's because the Rockefellers just want good little manufacturers. Obedient little employees already subscribe to the idea of a 9 to 5. raise your hand to go to the bathroom. Please, sir, can I have some more? No, no, you can't have any more. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the Rothschilds. Once upon a time, requesting a Federal Reserve. The richest people in the world said nay. Said, actually. And the Rothschilds responded with, do you guys like cruise ships? It's that through all of the atrocity, through all of the corruption, we're supposed to sit here and act like the world that the system built, the world that the billionaires and the people in power built is made for us, and it's not. And what's more is in the modern day, we're all supposed to just sit here like good little girls and goyams for Big Daddy Netanyahu while he fights a Zionist war on the other side of an ocean on our blood and our flesh, our taxpayer dollar. Why? Because we're all just sacrificial lambs, rats in a cage, running around looking for the cheese. Well, you know what? I think it's time we band together and find it.
Listen, John, I don't know. I know you don't.
told me to hold my autism. That dude can't lift his autism.
I know you don't deal well with any theatrics. That was fantastic. That's such a brilliant way to present those ideas. That's not cringy. That's brilliant.
It's cringy.
It's not cringy. It's not cringy at all. If you did a shit job, it would have been cringy. It's not cringy. It's just brilliant. The concept behind it is brilliant. Take a walk with me here. We have this propaganda machine of Hollywood, right? Or this propaganda machine of Hollywood. Heath Ledger was a big part of that. The Joker was a big part of that. This whole concept, we talked about it not too long ago with Ben. This whole idea of trying to convince people to have a reaction. Right now, it's against the large noses, to then have to correct that reaction. Right? It's the whole Hegelian dialectic concept. This is a great way of presenting these ideas. This is a great way of presenting these ideas. And we had, during when those Batman movies are popular, this like Joker figure who's saying, go out and make an ass out of yourself. Go out and, engage in anarchical behaviors. Go act like an asshole in the streets. And some people did. And that gave the powers that be something to react to. I think this whole idea of using that mechanism kind of against the powers that be is kind of fun. And it's not cringy. I understand. John's, for those people listening and watching this that don't know,
it's doing the exact same thing, dude. It's the exact
to some degree.
It's low value information presentation to who don't actually understand the big picture and will do exactly what you said.
The greater idea behind this concept, this is what you're talking
against
about,
the powers to be at all. This is their style of truth presentation.
Shut the fuck up, let me finish. The greater idea behind this presentation is simply to introduce people to the idea. I would hope. This is what I'm hoping. This is what I would think, is to introduce people to the idea of the co-opting of the educational system, right? The Rothschilds buying and paying for the education system, Jekyll Island, and then sending off all the people who dissented against the Federal Reserve. This is a great way to sneak those ideas into the media. And I understand for those people who are listening and don't know John or his brother who was on the show very well, anything that has to do with acting or theatrics makes them wildly uncomfortable. They will cringe and go into the fetal position. And I understand that, John, and that's okay. But I think we can all agree this is fun. And it's a great way to talk about this. It's fun.
Sure. It's just, you got to recognize what it's coming from. It's coming from one of these red pill, Twitter bots that are set up to do this. This is just as much like, this isn't, risk-taking truth telling. Like, this is controlled narrative. That's what this is. That's why I kind of, scoff at it a little bit, because that's what it's doing.
It's still fun.
I mean, sure. if that's your idea of fun, that's great. But it's like, recognized. It's like, I can just tell by looking at the red pill show. Guy describes himself as patriot and citizen journalist.
I did not look into this guy's channel at all.
This is the first time I'm looking at it. It's like, there are just a ton of these accounts on
Wanna
Twitter.
know what it is?
Shit, hold on.
there's a ton of these accounts on Twitter, and they all kind of present the same type of information. Is like, you know, I'm sure a lot of it's good, but like the way stuff like that's set up, I'm very, very skeptical of it. You know.
Okay, John votes for not fun, and we're
say
going to
not,
accept that.
Say not fun.
We understand you don't want to have fun, John, and that's okay.
Recognize
it's okay that you don't want to have fun.
The meta behind it,
and
because it's like
we
especially if it trends. If it trends, if it starts trending, be very, very skeptical.
And that's fine. that is okay.
So
that's fine. Like I said, wrestle the autism to the ground and just enjoy something for a minute. That's all we're looking for. We can talk about autistic stuff in a minute. I promise. Okay. I promise. I promise we can. I don't know. I think we need more fun things like this in the world. Like, there aren't people in our space having this kind of fun. I like it. I think it's a good time. I think this guy's probably a weird in real life, and I wouldn't want to hang out with him.
I don't know.
But
not the post of this is followed by Nick Hinton, Alex. I mean, it's followed by a bunch of normal people too. So I mean, I guess it's not necessarily we follow it, obviously. So I guess it's not an indictment. I just very skeptical of these types of accounts that have popped up all over Twitter.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So it's just, we don't have to get into what Twitter is, but
I mean,
Twitter's become an avenue for this type of stuff. So I just, it raises my red flags for when this comes across. But that did it. I will give that guy, he did have a decent Heath Ledger.
He did a good job.
So
the information
I can get on board.
Was good. It's okay to have fun sometimes. So moving on from the autistic narrative. It's hard to talk about these things with John. Well, guys, we're not going to talk about these things on the show when John's here anymore. When John's gone, we're going to have videos like that. Okay. So send them to me. And when John is busy on the odd Tuesday stream we have without him, we'll play just those. Those will just be, those will just be videos like that.
I'll make sure to jump in the comments and say the same.
Do what?
I said, I'll get in the chat and say the same.
You know, I believe you would. I 100% believe you would. I absolutely believe you would do that. So moving on, because I can't tolerate this discussion anymore. What, guys, what in the 9/11 is going on here? Let's watch.
This was interesting.
To Beijing's tallest skyscraper, the 109-story CITIC, I guess that's how you pronounce that shit, tower, China Zune in China. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Did the steel beams melt like they told us? Is it still standing? It probably is. Are there passports outside of this facility, unscathed? I don't know. I'm just asking a question. So
okay. Unrelated. You want to talk about people I find cringy? It's people like that. That's what I find uncomfortable. People like that.
Yeah, that's definitely worse.
Clearly is an incel, or either he's probably not an incel. He's probably married, but his wife is embarrassed to be seen with him in public. Like, that's probably what's going on. I'm sure he's a lovely person. That being said, what in the 9/11 is going on here? Like, a plane just flew into a building in Beijing. Have you seen this yet, John?
Yeah, I think I put that in our Twitter doc as well.
I didn't look at the Twitter doc this week.
I did see that, and I think the reactions are just kind of evidence that, like, a lot of, like, it's just interesting to see so much of, like, what was risk in, like, 2016. Like, James Corbett put out an awesome documentary on all of this in, like, the early 2010s, and it was like perceived at the times like this was a risky narrative to hold, like this was a risky position to have. It was not popular, right? You would not be accepted into, normal society, so to speak, when you were talking about this. We've just shifted so far that, like, people can see a a plane hitting a building in China and be like, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, and that's the conclusion they come from it. And it's just like, I think that's an interesting place that we're at. Like, that's immediately what people look for, and that's what they say, man.
Yeah,
it's like we're in a weird place.
That was in the comments of that video.
Yeah,
that
it was
in
probably,
the comments.
probably what
on
everybody
Instagram.
was saying. Everybody was quote tweeting that, because it's like we're in a place like it's just it's so weird, and it's just because it's like I kind of came into like conspiracy space in that era. It was at the end of that like old time, like, you know, James Corbett, you know, Loose Change, like all of the great like 9/11 architects and engineers and pilots, you know, for 9/11 Truth. Like all of those guys doing a ton of work, and they were all kind of fringe. And, you know, 10 years later, we're here saying the same that it's like it's not getting you banned from YouTube.
No.
You're not having to go like James Corbett did and like go live in
Move
Japan
to fucking
and
Japan or wherever he's living.
Make all of your own on your own website and do like go off like own your own. You're not having to do that anymore talking about this. And I think that's interesting. Like I think that's more interesting than like that building not falling down, because I'm at the point where like clearly it won't.
Yeah.
Like that's just obvious at this point. It should have been obvious in 2001, but it wasn't. But clearly it won't. None of the other buildings around it are going to fall down either for no good reason. Because that's like that. And like I'm at the point like, yeah, that's we get that. Why is this accepted now? Is society getting a lot smarter? Like, are we starting to see it? Maybe there's an aspect of that, but I feel like there's something a little bit like more nefarious at play, you know?
And that could be. I mean, I think part of it, I think this is probably a twofold issue.
Right.
For one, if you look into the way like propagandizing people works or brainwashing people works, there's a lot of repetition at play, right? You repeat the same narrative in front of people. We all think we're not going to be susceptible to it. But the fact of the matter is you repeat the same thing to the same person over and over again, make it socially advantageous for them to appear to believe a certain thing, and eventually they will believe it, right? It's not a dissimilar concept of like MK Ultra, where you traumatize people, repeat the same traumatize them over and over again, and instill a belief or a personality inside of their being. Right. I think what we're starting to see are two things. A, the programming's starting to wear off. I mean, you mentioned this on our show months ago. We were talking about Cenk, the leader of the Young Turks, calling out 9/11 in 2020 or not 2020, like 2025, 2026.
This year.
Yeah.
And he's
like what a you're calling out something that happened 24 years ago. What an idiot. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think part of it is just that programming wearing off. It's socially acceptable to call out 9/11, like you've said numerous times, but also attention shifting to other things. Like attention's not on, you know, America, 9/11, the terrorists. Attention's on why can't I afford gas? Attention is on other for the regular people living their lives. Attention's on other stuff for whatever people cause 9/11, for whatever people are in control of your gas prices, for whatever people are telling Trump to build the damn ballroom and spend $1.7 million on a aquarium bubbler. Like their attention shifted very clearly.
Yeah.
You can see it in the way the narratives are written in the news.
Yeah.
The language changes. The focus changes. The attention has shifted such that we're not focused on this like neocon 9/11 weird all the Muslims narrative. And we moved on to this strange, like Israel is our best friend, Iran, but also New Age, be in love with the divine feminine type weird. I don't know even what to call it. It's so nebulous right now. It's hard to pin down to like a single concept because I think it's in flux. Right? I think we're moving from one stage to another. I think we're in the process of that. But I think that's part of why that attitude's changed, and there are 40 people in the comments saying jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Like, it's okay to say that now.
Yeah.
Because they're not trying to make it not okay to say that.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, man. And I think like that to me is what's interesting, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I care about because you know, and I think the people who were here 10 years ago talking about 9/11 truth, I think a lot of them are probably in the same boat because it's like, yeah, clearly it doesn't. Like, that's done and settled. Why now? You know?
Right.
I think that's the interesting.
And that's a great question. If anybody has an answer for that out there, please DM us.
Yeah. Why
We'd like
now?
to know.
Because it's not just 9/11, it's a ton of shit.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of the shift from the narrative of 9/11 into whatever this new narrative is, I think it's no more well borne out than in the circus that is Congress these days. And I swear I wasn't going to play another one of these, but I have one tonight for us to play of a congressional hearing of the state senator from State Senator Antonio, whatever her name is. I don't know her first name. Talking about Somali immigration with what's his name? Brandon Gill, I think. Let's take a listen, folks.
Immigration been good for Ohio? Has Somali immigration been good for Ohio?
You know, that's really outside of my purview of
You're a state senator. Would you like to see more immigration from
as far
Somalia?
as far as I'm processing your question, and I have to say that I was almost brought to tears just now
72%
because the
of Somali
rate,
immigrants are on,
the
on
rate
welfare.
and the level of hateful rhetoric based
You're
on
defrauding your
false
state at an
information
astounding rate,
is
and I think
shocking.
that most Ohioans
Is
would have a
shocking to
problem
me.
with that.
The lack of even humanity to
I
group
think it's
a group
inhumane
of
to allow
people
your own
together.
state to be defrauded
am
at
shocked.
astounding
I
rates.
am shocked
Billions
and
of dollars
appalled by the
taken out of the
behavior
pockets
here
of
right
working
now.
class people,
I am
going to
shocked
criminal fraudsters.
because
I certainly
in
have a major problem
in every
with that.
community.
Okay, this is clearly a functionally practice, and these people aren't doing anything useful here at this hearing. But the thing I find fascinating outside of this old trying to say, I was almost brought to tears right now, very evenly, when she clearly was not emotionally affected at all. The thing I really want to call out is how often that happens in just regular conversation in regular society, and rational people don't say anything about it. People will invoke this weird emotional authority because it's uncomfortable for people to address and say it's gay and stupid in an effort to win an argument they know they've already lost. That happens on such a grand scale, and not just about that doesn't matter, like Somali immigration to Ohio, because who gives a right? But that happens about weirdly important things. Like if you get into a discussion about spirituality, I've had this happen on a personal level a few times where I've had conversations with people about why I don't value what's going on in the 501c3 system. And instead of addressing, sorry, John, instead of addressing the problem head on and saying, no, I disagree with you, and here's where I do personally see value in the 501c3 system, what they'll say is, you know, I was almost brought to tears right now by how disrespectfully you talked about our church organization and just how mean and rude it is for you to say that we're not all directly anointed by God because we hang out in a building together on Sunday morning and jerk each other off when we carry around our money and give it to the collection plate and talk about how good the elders are, even though they touch little kids. I was almost brought to tears by how you would say those mean things about those people. I can't believe you said that. And maybe I'm an ass. I am in some situations, but maybe I'm an ass. But I'm reaching a point where I refuse delivery of that type of argument. Okay, so you're brought to tears. Cry. That's fine. You can wipe them on my shoulder. I don't care. What you're telling me is you trying to win an argument by saying that, oh my gosh, I was almost brought to tears by the mean things you said about a clearly corrupt organization is cry if you want. I'm right. Be upset if you want. Maybe that's good. Maybe if you're upset, maybe if you feel like you need to have some sort of cathartic crying moment, there are bigger things for you to think about and worry about than the fact that I might have said something that wasn't so nice about Elder so-and-so who's screaming at all the children in the high school band because they played too loud during a play. Whose kid is sending nudies to 16-year-olds. Maybe you should get more said about that. John knows what I'm talking about. And so these emotional arguments for, oh my gosh, I almost cried at that. Yeah, sure. They're in a congressional hearing, with a bunch of monkeys playing circus together, playing house. But I think it's bigger and more important than that. That's all I had to say about that. John?
Excuse me.
As he's yawning.
Sorry.
Bad timing on my part.
Yeah, it's all right. Generally, when that kind of shit happens, it's you're trying to defend you're putting up a defense mechanism for when you're coming up against an uncomfortable truth that you can see right in front of you, but you don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that dude's putting that chick probably up against hey, what all the material benefit that I've probably gotten from letting my community go to right. I don't know how real that interaction is, but that's probably what's happening there. And this kind of hits close to home because it's you can put that up against a lot of people right now, who are dealing with, immigration, migration in the country from people coming from all over the place and in their communities is hey, you're kind of selling your places out for some type of material benefit. And I think if you just were that blunt to people, a lot of people would have that same reaction. A lot of the people in power making these decisions. It's you're putting these people up against a truth that they just don't want to face. And that goes for so many walks of life, man. So many, it's very easy to fall into that trap because it puts accountability on yourself ultimately.
Yeah. And I think where those people win by reacting that way is that's where most people in regular social situations back down and say, okay, sorry, you're upset. Peace out. And I think that's where discernment's super important because you do need to be empathetic to people who are upset. Sure, that's fine. But if you're getting upset because you were a piece of shit and it makes you uncomfortable that you're having to face that reality, maybe you should just be upset.
It can be a good thing.
Maybe you should just be upset. There are moments where I've been a person, people call me out on it, and guess what? I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm crying. I'm sad. What the fuck ever. I should just be upset during those moments. You should just be upset. You can't reflect that back on the people who are calling you out. It's not their fault. You're a right?
Right.
Sorry, you're a but that's on you.
Right.
You can't mommy or daddy anymore. You're a 50-year-old governor of Ohio.
Right.
Just be upset. This is where I can't remember who said it first, but this whole concept of terminal empathy, right? You see somebody who's sad or hurt or upset, sometimes directly because of things they've done. And instead of saying, yeah, that sucks, do better next time, people are empathetic to the point of saying, it's okay, don't change. And that's a big part of, man, I like where society's gone with trying to address the idea of the fact that people are real. People have emotions. People have, people need community and interactions. But to the degree that it has. Sorry, guys. Q said when he grows up, he doesn't want to be a cunt. We all have goals, Q, and I think that's a good goal to have. But to the degree that like terminal empathy keeps you from being able to be intellectually and emotionally and spiritually honest, I think it's a problem.
No.
That's all I have to say about that one. I don't know. That one got me riled up for seemingly no reason at all. All right. So, folks, last couple of things tonight. I got to go to bed because I'm old. But as we wind down here, I just want to share a couple of concepts with you all. The first one is one of the best things I've seen in a long time. Guys, I know there are a lot of liberals who are pacifists out there, but take a look at this video. If you're not scared of your local vegan, this'll help with that. Let's take a look. What the hell is going on there, John? You have any idea what they're doing here with nunchucks knocking balls off of posts?
I don't know what to do with that.
I think it would be a good time to hang out with this vegan cat lady. It just looks like such a pacifistic group of people. I think it's interesting that they're playing around with nunchucks in what looks to be some kind of weird adult daycare. I still can't for the life of me figure out what's going on there. And is it me, or did she say that was me off of my DMT when she was finishing up?
That just seems like some hipster business that a Californian like brought to Georgia or something.
Dude, this isn't hipsters. These are straight up. I don't even know. I don't know what else to call that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I have no idea what's going on with these people. Last, but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to be able to bring you this phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, sermon by Pastor Manning. This is a black preacher. I'm not sure where he's from, but he had some very stern words for his congregation. And folks, this is probably one of the most, I don't know, like truth-filled, meaningful, just honest sermons I think I've heard in a long time. This is just a minute of it. But hopefully Pastor Manning can bless you with some words of wisdom today. Well, let's listen.
You can't manage. You can't trust. I've been working with him for 45 years. A just ain't gonna do the right thing. He got an attitude about everything. Pastor Manning, he ain't for the black man. He's against the black man. Then you got rap music. Damn. And it gets worse. Our youth today.
This man looks like a walrus, a black walrus.
You go to Daytona Beach. I was if y'all seen some of the videos. They even go to Ruth Chris restaurant now. They're like a bunch of monkeys. I swear.
Dear Lord.
God. Black Gen Zers, somewhere between 15 and 30, they're like monkeys. They're like marauding monkeys. Turn loose on shopping malls, restaurants, running amok, knocking over things, fighting and shooting and killing, half naked. They're like monkeys. Send their ass back to the jungle.
Jeez. God bless America. I mean, that man was spitting fire. John,
Dude, I would love to see that dude. I don't know if you've ever seen that like famous NASCAR clip, the boogity boogity amen pastor who like closes out the invocation. Those two doing like a dual sermon together would be the funniest shit ever.
Can you imagine getting preached at by them on a Sunday morning, dude?
Yeah.
In your Sunday best? Just
He's just going hard, like that dude just going hard at the blacks, and then white Southern Baptist boogity 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 amen, and sends them on. It'd be so funny, dude. I don't even know if that dude's still alive, but that's what I was thinking. Of,
I don't have a lot of national pride, but it's people like that make me proud to be an American, dude. I fully support that man being a part of a megachurch. I don't believe in megachurches. I think they're bad. I fully support that man preaching to a megachurch every Sunday morning. I think it's the best place for him. Either that or out on the street in front of
that,
millions
or
of
like
people.
just like a massive like Christian, like the Passion Conference down in Atlanta.
Yes,
something like that. Just
yes,
like these massive like college conferences would be very fun.
Absolutely. With an audience of like 50,000 people.
Yeah, in the I can't. They have it at whatever that Mercedes-Benz, I think, in Atlanta. Like, I wonder what that reaction would be like.
With a bunch of just liberal, alleged religious kids.
It would be very funny.
Oh, that'd be great, dude. I would love that. I'd love that. That'd be amazing. All right, guys, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you for listening. It's been a good time. If you like the show, folks, go check us out on all the audio platforms. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. You can get all the episodes, audio or video there, people. If you're one of those weirdos like me who likes to just listen while you work all day, you're sad 9 to 5, you can download all the eps right there. So go follow us on Spotify. Our podcasting platform told John we didn't have enough subscribers there last week.
So
that's hilarious.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I figured out that there's such thing as episode art.
What?
So, yeah. So Apple Podcasts has a smaller, I guess, thumbnail size. So you have to upload a separate episode art in Spotify when putting these up to actually have a thumbnail on Apple Podcasts. So I'm starting to work on that.
Oh, I didn't know.
Go over to Apple Podcast. Our episodes will have thumbnails now. It took me 7 months to figure out what that was.
Also, we got locked out of our Apple Podcast account. So if anybody knows how to get us back in there, we could use your help.
Yeah, it's still there though.
It is still there, but we
listen.
can't get into edit anything.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows how to get us back in there, please reach out. But go follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever else podcasts are sold. Amazon Music, I guess. I think our show goes there. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the places. We're at the Veritas Road everywhere except for Twitter, where we're the Veritas Road Pod, because our old account got hacked. If you want more of the show, go check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/Veritas Road, where you can get unedited eps after we re-release them, as well as some stickers. We still owe some people some stickers. We got to have a cutting party, much like the emo kids in school. Don't worry, guys. Those are on their way. JC, Q, Neph Hunter. We're going to get more stickers to you eventually, I promise. But go to Patreon, sign up there. You can get in where you fit in over there. And then we also have a show with the Berean Files coming up on July 10th, 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be talking about symbolism and whatever else we get into that night. We'll see. But the main focus is going to be on setting the groundwork for the concept of symbolism. Very excited for that. That should be a good time. I don't think we have any other guests on the book as of right now, but be sure to tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time for Touch Me Tuesdays, where we talk about the things that touch me this week, and hopefully we can touch you too. And then we'll be doing some of our own stuff over the coming month. Anything else, John? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you covered it. Doesn't look like any gets already dead. It's not happening tonight. There's no one live, so sorry to the people in the Rumble chat. Go find somewhere on your own.
Go forth and sin no more, folks. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.